Great. Hey, we only have 15 minutes, so I'll get started right away. So can you tell briefly about yourself and the business you founded?
Yeah, my name is Anton. I'm one of the founders of Epicbrief. There are three of us, and I think briefly what we want to do with Epicbrief is to make human work in in sales more meaningful and valuable. Just some of the examples I think Henry already touched on. There's a lot of tasks people are doing today, and we focus on salespeople, like B2B salespeople, just as consultants, right? Like people have so many tasks which they didn't really sign up to when they go to sales, right? So I think, so for us is just to make people more, to make their life or their sales work more meaningful and valuable. That's what we are all about.
Okay, cool. And actually, we've been discussing that in many technologies, what you have is you have a new technology and it increases the productivity a few percent, or it cuts cost, and then the work stays the same, right? It's just that it feels that we just need to work harder when we get these productivity boosting technologies. But here actually people can have also the quality of work can also improve, right?
Yeah, I think you're right. And I think just thinking about the sales is obviously the quality of work. If the quality of work improves for the salesperson, I think it automatically improves for the customer, as most salespeople are the faces of the company. So imagine a salesperson who is overworked and really doesn't like doing administrative things, for example, and just has to do them in the night before they put their kids to bed, etc. Or the salesperson who is just very creative and very energetic and just enjoys what they're doing. I think that's a different face of the company.
Yeah, that's cool. So your service extracts insights from sales transcripts and puts them into the customer relationship management system or something like whatever we call them, databases. So often people discuss this distinction of automating versus augmenting human work, and I guess for me it's more of a continuum. But how do you see your company? Are you augmenting the humans, or are you automating all together like a part of the job?
Yeah, I think we're not automating a sales job. I think it depends on what level of abstraction you look at the word task. So there are a lot of tasks within the sales job. I think it's one of the most complex professions in the world, being a salesperson. That is really complicated, but there are a lot of tasks. So I think we're augmenting salespeople. We're helping them on day-to-day, but then helping also means automating some tasks. But it doesn't necessarily mean that you don't have any control over that. So imagine it's like here's a suggestion, do you want to continue kind of situation. Is that good for you? Do you want to push that data in your CRM, or do you want to send that email to the client, or do you want to do that handoff to your internal colleagues, right? So that's that decision is on you, and what parts of those things you want to push, what parts you want to keep. I think that still needs to be decided by the person.
So your philosophy is to give the professional the power to
use. They're professional salespeople. I think I would feel bad to just say, hey, now the AI could do the work, because based on our research and based on the testing we've done with different large language models, that the technology is not there yet. And I think removing the human interaction from altogether from the job of sales is not going to be here. It's not there maybe for the next 5-10 years. I don't know.
Telemarketing is going to be replaced, though.
Yeah, maybe.
But so you've been now actually developing real solution with real customers. So are they surprised by the capabilities? So you said it makes mistakes, but also the progress has been super fast, right?
Yeah, I think it was funny experience. I think about 8 months ago when we started with some handful of customers, they were just excited about technology itself. But then now the more kind of test users are coming in, the more we get feedback from them, they know the technology is there, ChatGPT, people tried it, but now they're very excited about applications. It's actually much more like, for us, it's much more valuable to talk to people now, because their head is kind of turning, like, oh, can we do this? Can we do that? Like it actually, they're already thinking of potential implications or applications of technology. So it's much easier to get customer feedback and connect it to what we can kind of bring to our users.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the design and the convenience starts to matter more relative to the technology, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I'm not sure how everybody uses ChatGPT, but the way I used it, I maybe use it for a week, kind of extensively. But I'm using that technology, so I'm kind of testing it. But then I'm kind of not using it on day-to-day basis. There are a lot of tasks I could be using it for, but I'm not. And I think the problem is that I don't see myself doing work inside of the ChatGPT. I have another workflow, I have another systems, I have another, I have other things I have to do, and that user interface or that way of working as ChatGPT presents doesn't really fit me. So what we are trying to do for salespeople is to make sure that we are as integrated as possible into their daily workflow, and we can do the jobs of what they're trying to do or tasks they're trying to do as seamlessly as possible, so that when they think like, oh, I need to prepare for this meeting, that the meeting prep is right there, it has all the information you need, and then you're ready within like 2 minutes for the call, right? Or when you're after the meeting, like, oh, I need to do X, Y, Z, and that's exactly what the system does. So you don't have to sort of think about how AI can help me. It's helping it. It's helping you actively.
Yeah, yeah. And of course, I don't want to be like the joy kill, but there's the GDPR, right? Also, that in many cases, putting data into the ChatGPT window, if it's personal data, is actually, strictly speaking, illegal, right? So we need to have services that use the Europe-based language models. And actually, I don't want to advertise Microsoft, but they promised that next month Azure will run the GPT in EU. So it's actually going to be legal with personal data.
Yeah, I think one of the things being a Finnish company is security, and data security is really important to us. And at least what we're trying to do is to make sure that our customers are just as happy and as comfortable in using the technology we provide them.
Yeah, yeah. So can you tell a bit about, I don't know if this is like secret, but what's your roadmap like? What do you, now that you're developing a service based on GPT, what's on the agenda?
I think it actually goes really well with part of your presentation when you're talking about waves. I think very naturally this is how we are thinking about our roadmap. So you can maybe even think about the first wave is when we really want to make sure that that people are using it, that it is for the users, that they are getting value out of using something like Epicbrief. And then I really liked how you presented challenges, like issues, potential issues. I think that's how we're trying to approach it, is to resolve the issues at the same time while going on the wave. Because one of the problems in using the software is like, are people going to use it? Are they going to understand? Are they going to sort of like, so we're kind of trying to tackle it first. And then the second wave, I think you explained it as a business process. I think if you imagine a sales process with AI in it, it's so much more intelligent. It's so much more efficient. People know what to do, when to do. For example, today, to establish a really well-working sales process takes sales leaders. It's just a never-ending story. And what you do, you take a lot of data from your salespeople, then you apply it, then you analyze it, and then you present it back to them and say, this is what works, right? So that's the next step, is like to make sure that people are using the information their salespeople are getting from the market and incorporate that in their sales process. And I think other ways, I'm not sure about business model, but one of the things we really aspire to is the world where sales is not like the qualities of a salesperson or personality or the quality of your sales team is not as important as it is today. For example, I used to work at Oracle, and competing with companies like SAP or Microsoft, not always the best product wins, right? And I thought that's actually not fair, because customers get value from products first, especially in software as a service, and only after that from customer service. So what we really want to do is to make sure that like the best product wins. So you level the playing ground for the salespeople. Everybody knows what they're doing, and it's not a difference of like this is a better sales team or worse sales team. Is what's the best product.
Yeah, I like that. I like that philosophy. Of course, ethics are, and I realize I should probably have taken more time to discuss ethics related to generative AI. It's mostly something that we talk about in consumer goods, but also I think in business to business. So in a way, what's the position of the customers and the employees in this sense? Like when we have generative AI, and you don't see yourself like becoming this big brother that monitors the salespeople and uses AI to identify when they make mistakes.
No, I think that's what we're trying to get away from. I think there's a lot of tools without generative AI which were used in that matter, which is like overlooking salespeople, making sure that you can always listen in. Did they say something wrong? Are they doing the right things, etc. So we want to move away from that, and that's part of the reasons why we don't want to go. Why we want to make sure that the users are happy with what they're getting. The individual salespeople, and only then sort of address the problems or the challenges of the management. So for us, if our company is growing, it's growing through adoption of the technology through users. So it's already ethical on the user level, and I think where ethics come into play is more on the data security side, when we need to make sure that the organization is very, very happy and comfortable in how the technology, how their data is handled, and is it done in an ethical way, and are we managing and training or like fine-tuning models in an ethical way, which at least based on what we signed with our investors, we have to do that, and that's what we will do.
Great. Hey, thank you so much, Anton, and best of luck with your company. So if people want to try Epicbrief, it's already exists, right?
It does exist, but it is right now it's invite only. So yeah, you can send me a message or go on our LinkedIn page. We're not very public because it takes some time. I think one of the challenges is nobody has done, or there's no like how to do user experience or how to do the product design with AI in it. That's one of the challenges, and that's how we're testing with people. We'd love everybody's feedback. If you want to join the test group, just send me a message, and we'll see what we can do.
Great. Hey, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Yeah. See you.